Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I am Bushka on Blitz, and gee, it's been an auspicious week in my family. We've had a massive week. We've had the shoulder or wonking damage contest draw to its final inevitable conclusion of mass damage and destruction. And we've had a couple of big family events take place as well. As always, this is a patron-sponsored post. If you'd like to sponsor the channel, get involved in the events, the private videos, the voice chat, the Telegram chat, the madness, the mayhem, then click here and onwards and upwards. However, that's not what today is about. Today is the runners-up at Tier 6 and Tier X. Now, LoseAx was the leader at Tier X for quite some time after taking over that mantle from Otto, from the APCR clan. However, there was a huge gruel game that came in at the last breath and stole victory away from him. But onwards and upwards, team. Here is the lowlight of the week. We've had people like this all over the place. We had the derp diaries recently, and I don't want to do too many more derp diaries because, you know, you don't like making fun of people for being idiots. You don't want to talk about them when they're ignorant and bad. But this guy, this E100 PKM, whatever his name is, he just decided he was going to push me off the edge of the map. And then he chased me around for a bit, blocking me and being a general moron all over the place. There you go, PKM, KBLK. But that was the low light. The highlights, well, junior number one, the big elderly junior Bushka, graduated from Sydney University this week. And I was pants off proud. Very, very happy dad. Look at him there, getting the nod from the Chancellor, saying, yep, I'm off for world domination. And down he goes. He's wearing the pimp robe to the big man. 6'4", tall, and look out world, here he comes. And then junior number two, learning how to surf this week. Here he is, first time up on the board. Go you ninja, go. Loved it. Going down to the beach today at Freshie. Can't get enough of it. I got a good mate who's a Northern Irishman who's doing his first patrol there. Look out world, freshwater is now the safest beach. This, my friends, is the BG2B game in the M4A3E8, the Easy 8 as it is called. A fantastic little Tier 6 tank, plenty of gun depression mobility, and a very awkward armor profile once you swizzle it about. Now, the names are going to be going up this week for the shoulder wonking damage contest, those who won. I won't spoil it all here, but I'm going to post it at www.bushkaonblitz.com. I'm going to put a few other interesting things up there as well, namely all the music I've been using from my old band, because a few people have asked for it. I'm going to host it up there, and if you want to download it and have a listen, go for your bloody life. Now, this is a great game. I particularly love this game. Most of the entries at Tier 6, it should be no surprise, came from people driving KV2s. The KV2 is a notoriously big derping gun for a Tier 6 tank. It's abhorrent how much damage it can output when given the opportunity. Generally, that was always going to be the way, but this was a bloody good game from a Tier 6 tank, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It was an interesting thing to see throughout the course of the competition that the highest damage games were not always the most interesting to watch or the best played games. Some of them are absolutely outstanding and you can't take away from it. But for instance, the Tier X game that wins it is ludicrous. But it's like a perfect confluence of events that brings it together. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing game for all that. But there were certainly some games that were a lot more hard fought and hand on heart exciting. But for all that, we had some fantastic entries, and I couldn't showcase them all. So I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't put your game up here, because it was really, really tough, and there were so many people throwing me entries. Again, if you do want to post me a video, send me a message at bushkawonking@gmail.com. Bushka Wonking, WONKING @gmail.com, and we can have a chat there. Basically, outline damage in the game, what the game's about, if it's worth using, why it's worth using, and we'll have a look at it from there. Now, BG2B is in the famous Spuds and Taters clan, which is fantastic. And one of my favourite names. And he's gone low and been very, very conservative there. Been trying to use the gun depression to get shots in and sees there's no targets and immediately comes high. And the VK3601H is pushing up on him. Now, he does a good job here of like just isolating this target basically, and then putting himself in a position to rip into this VK without taking any great damage in return. The VK is a tremendously vulnerable tank when put in mobility situations because it's just not very mobile, and the Easy 8 is a really mobile medium tank at tier 6. It's an absolutely fantastic drive. If you've ever driven an Easy 8 or you've never driven an Easy 8, you should, because it's one of those underrated tanks. It's not the most overpowered tank at tier 6, but it is a very enjoyable tank to drive. Now, BG's in a bit of strife here. He's getting some hits from behind. He's trying to hold his position. He doesn't know whether he's in two minds. Do I push up into the teeth of the enemy, or do I keep copping it from the date? And he decides to push up into the teeth, which is a good decision in the long run. Now, while this tank is fairly well armored, it's not the best armored of the M4s at tier 6. That goes to the Jumbo, and they have a Jumbo left. Now, I drive the Jumbo with the second from top turret because it is basically a monstrously strong turret and allows you to go hull down and pretty much nothing at your tier that's firing non-premium rounds will pen you through the front of the turret while you're hull down in that thing. However, the Jumbo that's left is running the top tier turret, which is fine. It's still an excellent turret and has a very, very strong gun mantlet, but it doesn't have the all-round protection that the stock turret provides. And you can see that there because BG smacks one straight into the hatch area of that M4. Now, the M4 is going to make a bit of a tactical call here where he's going to push on the Crusader. The Crusader is lower on hit points and is a lot easier to penetrate than the M4 that you can see here that BG from Spud is driving. And that gives him the opportunity to just pour fire into the back of this Jumbo. And he does so with alacrity. Now, I was very happy that there was a bigger damage game than this, because basically this, while it is a fantastic effort, does get the benefit of a half AFK VK that remains on the red team. And this is fantastic work because that Crusader, for all the fact that he's not pumping in big damage, is leading this M4A3E2 on a merry chase. And while he runs around, he is in fact liable to wide open flank shots from our mate BG2B. Now, the last VK3001P is in the spawn area, and he is seemingly AFK. He's not actually AFK. He's having a rest. Apparently, having a rest is a good thing in game, and it allows him to just sit at the back, soak up the atmosphere, have a chat to people on his team, and cop a bit of verbal abuse, no doubt, from his own red teammates. He is hugging a zone line at the rear of the map and appears to be totally incapacitated, but he does come to life very soon. So it's not like it was all 100% AFK damage poured in here to BG2B's massive damage score in the M4A3 Easy 8. There you go, he's turning the turret and he started reversing, so he is in fact alive, which is good for all concerned. But he's unfortunately left his run too late. He should have been up there helping the team, and he is sideways to the big man in the M4 and is easy meat. Now, this is a gold mastery game, which is no surprise because if you've been watching, he has pumped out an absolutely tremendous amount of damage. And if we go to the scorecard on the judges table at the end, you'll see that it is nearly 4,000 to the good. 3,903 damage in a tier 6 match is superb. And there are bigger games than that in tier 6 to come. The winner at tier 6 is well in excess of 4K. Now, this is our good mate LoseAx. LoseAx, you might remember as the bloke who did 7,700 damage in a T54, firing with the actual second gun on the T54. The one that's not as popular, it has slightly more pen on its AP rounds, and you can see that helping along there in the game there he was running on Middleburg. It's not the D10T, which leads to the 140. It is in fact the gun that leads to the T62A. This was LoseAx's second game submitted, and this is the Object 140 on Fort Despair, which was the only time that anyone really put in a Fort Despair match. Now, I assumed LoseAx was going to win the Tier 9 variant of the Shoulder of Wonking Damage contest with that T54 game. However, there was an enormous Leopard PTA game that came in. LoseAx game was 7,300. Sorry, my mistake. And you can see him here. He loves his Russian meds. I'm going to post up his YouTube channel here. I posted it up previously. And there is his first kill. The big 263 who has looked up and got spanked. He pushed very, very, very hard there. That platoon went all the way around through the one channel or the heavy channel of Fort Despair and was met with some very stiff resistance. However, the rest of their team has successfully spanked what was left of the green team defending the cap area here. And LoseAx is loving life and living large because he's come up behind two very large, immobile German heavy tanks, namely an E100 and an E75, who are currently engaged with what can only be described as a wildly aggressive T-54 who was pushed up to be sitting in the middle of both of them. LoseAx has been on the trigger pretty much non-stop since the start of the game, and although we're only 4.5 minutes in, he's done multiple thousands worth of damage already. It's a 3-on-2 situation though, with a very strong couple of tanks left on the green team and plenty of firepower on the Reds. The Reds have some tremendously good DPM tanks there in the Tortoise and the Object 704. Unfortunately, the mobility of LoseAx has allowed him to come around here behind the rest of the team and smack shots in. Now, you might notice that LoseAx is running on PC, hence the map is in the bottom left corner. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that the big damage games seem to be coming from the PC predominantly. It's not actually the fact that people are scoring more damage on PC, it's the fact that it's a lot easier for people who are on the PC variant of the game to record than it is for people who are on mobile devices. If you're on a mobile device and you want to record and you want to do it with any kind of quality, you generally have to do it via AirPlay or running the game through a lightning cord, a lightning connection into your Mac. If you're on PC, you're already doing that, so it's very, very easy to record, and it means that I got a much greater proportion of my games from PC people than I did from people on mobile devices. Now you can see here, he's done tremendously well, using the mobility and absolutely pounding through the Reds. He's been on the trigger pretty much non-stop, moving in a very, very small radius. As Fort Despair is, it's a close contact map, and he's done nothing but good to his team. Big, big, big carry from LoseAx. We all knew he was an exceptional tanker, and it's no surprise there that he's topped out at nearly 7,500 damage, got a mastery, he got everything, Kolobanov mastery, 5 kills, so he got his pulls, his Radley Walters, and a Top Gun to boot. What a game, what a great couple of games, and boys and girls, they were second place. So, just to let you know, the game that beat LoseAx was an incredible Grill 15 game, which you're going to see very, very shortly. I'm going to bring that up on channel this week. I've also got Trutoki, who won the Tier 7 variant in an SU-122-54. Big Besha, who won the Tier 6 variant in a KV2 with over 4,000 damage, well in excess of 4,000 damage, in fact. The Tier 9 was won by a wonderful human being who drove a Leopard PTA to nearly 8k. Oh no, you've got to see that game. It's absolutely phenomenal. And Tier 8 was Hermoz, who picked up the T-44 and ran it into the ground on Castilla for 5,500 and something damage. It was such a close game. The difference between Maddox and the T-44 game was about 18 damage. So it was the closest result at any tier in the shoulder or wonking damage competition. And we had a KV1 winner at Tier 5. God bless the KV1, the square block of Soviet justice that we have all come to know and love from the early days of the game, when it was considered one of the most overpowered tanks you could run, before all the other machines came in and power creep slept on up. I'm Bushka Blitz. Thank you so much for watching. It's been fantastic to have a chat to you guys and to run this shoulder wonking competition. We've had literally hundreds of emails and entries come in. I started a new account for that, and it's been full to overflowing pretty much the whole time. which is superb. I'd love to do it on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. And if you guys are keen to stay involved, the more people that keep playing the game, the more people that get au fait with actually recording and sending things in, the better it's going to be. And as I mentioned earlier, big week in sport for my family with a university graduation, junior learning to surf, and one of our very good mates becoming a lifeguard from Northern Ireland. That doesn't happen often. In Northern Ireland, I think they're having a national holiday because it's such an amazing thing. For one, a bloke from Northern Ireland to learn to swim. Two, for a bloke from Northern Ireland to go out in the sun. And three, for him to be responsible for the lives of genuine Australian humans on the beach. Well, yeah, it's hats off Northern Ireland today. National holiday. Everyone's going to get involved. Onwards and upwards, humans. And until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.